might not believe it, but the Endgame battle is definitely the one with the most plot holes, including some truly disastrous moves by the Avengers. That moment was enough to make your jaw drop. Everyone knows that the sole purpose of the first half of Avengers 4 was to collect all the Infinity Stones in order to snap and bring back half of all living beings who disappeared in the third installment. But because Nebula brought Thanos and his entire Chitauri army with her, it led to the most epic final battle in Marvel history. At the same time, a new problem arose. What should be done with the Infinity Gauntlet? The only way at that moment was to use Ant-Man's old van to return the stones to their original timeline, preventing the Mad Titan from stealing them and repeating the same mistake. Therefore, the superheroes started a relay race to pass the gauntlet along, even including Captain Marvel. The big sister also joined in on the delivery mission. But if we look closely at the Captain's actions, don't you think it's just too comical? The gauntlet is clearly lying right there on the ground, so why is he so focused on fighting that he doesn't even glance at it? Of course, given that this was their only chance at victory, this detail isn't really worth mentioning. Just like in Avengers 3, Thor only needed the Stormbreaker to seriously injure Thanos, who had all 6 Infinity Stones in hand. You could say that at that moment his rage had reached its peak. You could also argue that the main character of the 4th installment wasn't the God of Thunder, but after all, he's still one of Marvel's big 3 and the strongest Avenger. Not to mention at that time he was powered up by both Mjolnir and Stormbreaker. Shouldn't he have had a chance to show his true power and unleash the anger inside him? Instead, throughout the final battle, the God of Thunder was beaten so badly he could no longer fight back. This also echoes a saying, the one who stays behind is the one who suffers the most. He had to step aside and give Tony and Captain America enough time to have their moments to shine. There's also the iconic assembly scene before the battle begins, when the heroes enter the battlefield one after another. To highlight the grandeur of the setting, the director used a wide-angle shot. But if we zoom in on the frame and keep looking closely, I'm sure you'll spot a Captain America holding an intact shield. But if we remember correctly, wasn't the shield just shattered by the villain a few minutes earlier? Is the director testing our memory, or betting that we can't rewind to check? Instead of calling Endgame the ultimate all-out brawl, it would be more accurate to say it's like a relay battle patched together from various individual showcases, including Captain Marvel making the most glamorous entrance. It's no exaggeration to say Marvel gave her way too much screen time. While the Avengers were being bombarded and scattering in chaos, she descended onto the battlefield like a celestial warrior. Legend has it that her speed at that moment was so great that even Tony's global defense system couldn't analyze what it was. In the scene where this character single-handedly destroys Thanos' mothership, you have to wonder, on what grounds does the Captain have to command her, and where does that leave the other superheroes? Moreover, looking at the entire history of Marvel, only max-level Thor in the 3rd installment has ever been given such an entrance. But you have to understand that Thor underwent character development across 3 solo films and 2 Avengers movies as a foundation, which made the audience truly respect him. Meanwhile, at that point, she had nothing. Audiences in theaters didn't even know who she was. So in the end, who gave her the courage to make such an entrance? Could it be because of Marvel's favoritism? Next, let's take a look at Spider-Man's performance. While running the relay with the Infinity Gauntlet, the kid activated the legendary insta-kill mode. Spider-Man's eyes turn red when this mode is activated. This was only briefly teased in Homecoming, but because Spider-Man didn't want to kill anyone, it was deactivated halfway through. Analyzing from that, this mode definitely gives a significant boost to the user's abilities. But in Endgame, it took everything for Spidey to finally go all out, only to get ganged up on and beaten badly by a bunch of low-level soldiers. Honestly, it makes you want to ask Tony, is this really all you gave the kid? When some characters get nerfed, others are bound to get buffed. Marvel made a bold decision by uniting all the